Hello, my name is Ivy Manglonia, and I will be teaching you how to write a rhetorical analysis essay. So, this is the essay that we were tasked to do. It's the Lou Gehrig rhetorical analysis essay. If you want to look over it, you can email me to share it with you. This consists of 5 paragraphs. So, analyzing the prompt. We were tasked to read Lou Gehrig's speech and to analyze the rhetorical devices used in his own speech and to compose a rhetorical analysis essay about it. How to write the introduction. So your introduction should be brief but must contain important information. You should start with a rhetorical situation that relates to space, which is speaker, purpose, audience, context, and exigence. And for the introduction, should end with this thesis statement. So the format is 1, speaker, context, and exigence, 2, exigence and purpose, 3, audience, 4, and your thesis. So this is one document that Mr. Ogden shared with us to help us with our introductory paragraph. So it shows us some templates for our format, and it also shows some strong thesis statements and what you should do and what you should not do, and some exemplars as well. You can email me for that as well. So here's my own introduction paragraph. Just pause it if you need to read all of it. So for the first sentence, it shows the rhetorical devices that were used in his speech, and it relates to his own tone during his speech, which creates that heartwarming sensation towards the audience. The next sentence provides the background information of the speaker, and that follows the space format, and that's the speaker portion. Next, one of the rhetorical strategies were revealed, which was repetition, and in the next sentence supports that sentence because it shows his luckiest man alive remark being repetitive. The next one justifies the rhetorical strategies that were used, and it allowed him to deliver his message towards his audience. So how to write the body paragraph. So here are some essential questions that you should consider when you're writing your body paragraph. What strategy has been used? Is there an active example of the strategy implemented? That means the evidence. What was the purpose behind using that particular strategy? So that is really important because you're trying to analyze the rhetorical strategies used to connect his own purpose or the writer's purpose and his own speech if it was his goal was achieved. Is there an impact to the strategy on the readers? What perspective feeling has been provoked by that particular strategy? So you should write your own analysis in a third person point of view because it is more effective than using we or I. So you can again, if you want to click on the links, you can ask me for the presentation through my email and I'll share it to you. Here's my body paragraph. Again, you can pause it to read all of it. So here is the first 2 sentences because they relate to each other, and it indicates the rhetorical devices or fields that were used in Lou Gehrig's speech, and he provides references in a certain part of his speech, and I mentioned it here in my analysis. The next sentence shows the evidence for Lou Gehrig's character appeal and the syntax of his speech. So syntax is the placement of words. The next sentences, he mentions his own disease, which sort of he reaches his goal because he wants to say his goodbyes to his audience. So he mentions his disease and why he has to go. So writing the conclusion, your conclusion can be short, but it is always effective. It's the effective part because you're basically summarizing your whole analysis essay, but it makes a statement. So you should start with your observations and end with your conclusion. So you should be summarizing how your observations reached author's goal. So that means you would have to mention how certain rhetorical strategies that were revealed in the speech reached whatever text the author of that text goal was. You're going to restate your thesis. You're going to focus on your main ideas, and do not use in conclusion, because it does not seem effective. More of therefore, overall, to conclude, like that. So again, you can press the link to access examples of a conclusion format. Please excuse that, I forgot to change it. So here's my conclusion exemplar. Just pause it again to read it. Okay, so the first sentence utilizes Lou Gehrig's emotional appeal, and it would also connect to his own purpose of his speech. The next sentence reveals the rhetorical devices or strategies that were used. So that's really effective in the conclusion. This is my concluding statement, which I use therefore, and it shows how his rhetorical appeals reached the goal of his speech. Thank you. If you have any